Here's some that I turned yesterday and put together this morning. And as you see, I first turned the large base. This is about 4 pounds of clay, 3 or 4 pounds of clay. Then we can move up to maybe 1.5 to 2 pounds. I turned the spout and added that to this piece, so that's actually 3 pieces there. You know, gourd is organic, naturally, it grows. So we're trying to make something reminiscent, inspired by nature. Of course, a pot is totally inorganic. And do you know the difference between organic and inorganic? Carbon. Organic is carbon-based. Pottery has no carbon. If it does, it burns out. It's an impurity. It's minerals. Kaolin, silica. This is a porcelain clay. The glaze would be also various elements. Zinc is what we use to grow the crystal. We use cobalt, iron, manganese, copper, all inorganic materials to color. First step, I take the turn pot that I've let sit overnight and stiffen up to what we call leather hard stage, and I put it back on the wheel and centered it. I take a tool, run it around here, score the pot, and then we add slip. It's a clay that's been liquefied somewhat. And this is to make a glue to stick the pieces together. So here's the second piece. We'll also score it and slip it. Then we'll stack them. I want to make sure it's also centered on there. So I use my finger as a guide. And that's pretty close. So then we want to blend these two together. So you have to be real careful not to get it too wet or it'll sag. And I like to take a little slip and work it in there to seal the cracks and also soften the clay somewhat so that we get a good tight seal there. So I'm applying gentle pressure. Working more slip in the crack. And I'll always go back later and clean them up with a metal tool to get rid of the. So we want a kind of a smooth transition, like a real gourd would look. So this one, I want to make a 3-piecer. I've made a bunch of 2-piece ones. They're fun to make. So that's piece number 2. So then we'll take the top piece. I cut the bottoms out, naturally, because you don't want the bottoms in there, but it's better to turn them with the bottoms because they don't distort if you leave the bottoms in. Okay, so piece number 3 is going in, so I score it. These are just right. They're not too dry, they're not too wet. If they're too dry, they'll come apart. If they're too wet, they'll sag and you'll lose your piece. So there's number 3. So we're gonna, that's centered pretty well, so we're gonna put my finger up there as a guide, and then doesn't have to be perfect. The closer you get it, the better. So there's number 3. And I slip that together. Cover these up with plastic when I'm through to let them dry slowly so that these seams won't crack open and you have to to go back and try to seal them up. It's a big pain when that happens. I'm working that slip in up and down. The pot's staying together because that top is staying centered. If it starts getting off, that knows that you've gotten your pot too wet. Now we'll just take a sponge and clean it up a bit. Later on, before they get totally dry, I'll take another look at them and see if they need any touching up anywhere, and I'll put them back on the wheel and work on them some more. Take a little clay out the bottom there. There. So there you have it. And so these will be fired and ready to show at the Art Break celebration over in Chatham County on April 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5.